Hey, this is Rick with Outdoor Emergencies at Hiking Emergency Beacon, and I'm here with Jerry with MeAndHerAfterKids. I'm gonna tell you right now, go check out their website. A lot of great stuff. They're out camping and hiking here in Colorado, so if I forget to say it later, there'll be some information in the description below, but make sure you go check the site out. But we're out here today, and if you hear the ladies talking over there, just ignore them. We do all the time. At least we say that to the camera when they're not listening.
They'll never watch us.
Yeah. So what I want to do today is we want to talk about some satellite communicators or satellite messengers, and Jerry has one now. And so we're going to be going over this, but we're really going to come at it from a perspective from Jerry of not being as experienced with them as I am. And so we're going to just have a question and answer session. So before we get into that, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. Well, before we jump into this and before you get to ask any of your questions, I just wanted to go over a few things that you brought up this week. Two of them, both of them, or I think there's 3 people total in the Rocky Mountain National Park, and I think they all fell.
That's right.
So you're the one who found it. I mean, tell about that a little bit. What happened? They were 2 airlifts from helicopters.
Yes, from the National Guard.
Yep. So tell about that a little bit, because this goes to why you should always have the ability to communicate. And if it's not you, nothing's ever going to happen to me or Jerry. Nothing ever. But if something happens to somebody else, you still have the ability to contact search and rescue, two-way message, whatever's needed. So go ahead, tell about the stories.
Well, this article I saw this week, it was just devastating. There was one was a Colorado resident, the other was a vacationer. They were hiking up high, slipped, fell. He was an older gentleman, probably my age. I hate to say it, that's older, but he didn't have an emergency beacon on, but there was another hiker close by that did. And so what they did is they hit their SOS button as soon as they saw him fall. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. He had critical injuries. I think he only fell like 65 feet. But the other one that was just even worse than that, she fell over 300 feet. And she didn't have an emergency beacon, and the weather turned bad, and it took them a while to get her out of here. They had to call in the Colorado National Guard to come get them out with the helicopters, because that's how remote they were at.
Did she survive?
No, 300 feet.
I thought they had airlifted somebody out who did survive, but that was early on, and I didn't read much about it.
No, that was that older gentleman. He did survive, but I don't know the update on that. I just know he was in just extreme critical condition.
So there was 3 people, right? There was 2 helicopters came out?
Yeah, and then there was another one 2 weeks prior to that who rented a car, didn't tell anybody where he was going, went out. He was hiking one of the 14ers on the ridge line, fell down in a crevice, and no one knew where he was at. Another hiker came by, saw his feet sticking out way down below, went to the ranger, and of course it took them 4 days to get him out of there, and he didn't survive.
So this isn't always about survival. I don't mean to be morbid at all, but just because you have a satellite communicator doesn't mean you're going to survive. But if you have it on and you're using, say like the Garmin, you're using MapShare, and people are tracking you, or even if they're not tracking you, if they come back later and you're overdue, and they can click on that link and go see where you're at, and they can see, maybe they can't communicate with you, but they can see where you're at, and they see you're still moving, you're still giving updates, or they see it's been 5-6 hours and there's no update. Then they can find out, they can get those coordinates, and they can contact search and rescue, fire, police, whoever, give that information, and they can get out, and at the very least have a recovery operation. And you may say that's why I have a satellite communicator. Well, do you really want your body or family or loved one's body left out to where you can't recover them, or you don't know what's happened to them? So there's that part of it. I don't mean to go to that negative side that fast, but I mean, most of the time it's an injury, and a lot of times it's people getting lost, honestly. And I wanted you to ask questions, but we'll get to that in a second, because my daughter did search and rescue in Gunnison at the Mountain Rescue team, Colorado Mountain Rescue, and she did that for about 2 years, and a lot of theirs were people that got lost. And when you get lost and you're out in the middle of the night and it gets cold, or a lot of them are hunters and they're getting lost, Well, now you can have something that's not life-threatening, maybe become life-threatening. So it's just important to have. Lots of different reasons. We can go on and on and on about them, whether it's a snake bite or you've fallen or you got lost. And because if you get lost and you have the two-way messaging, or you could see yourself on a map, well, you're not lost anymore. So.
But I didn't even realize I needed one of these until I guess when I hit 50. You know, because when you're young, you're indestructible.
Yeah.
You can't get lost. You can't get hurt. You know, you're bulletproof, you might say. But now since, you know, me and her, we get out probably 4 to 5 miles away from camp. We get away from people. That's our main goal. And sometimes we get into situations where it's like, which way did we go? We don't know which way to get back, and we have to hunt and peck and all that. If we had some type of garment or something where we could see our traces and how we got there, then that would take out all that fear, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I want to jump into this real quick. Let's get into some details real fast, because we can talk about stories and reasons why later. But so Jerry has the Spot Gen 3. It's the older version of this, does the same thing. This is the only one-way satellite communicator out of this bunch, and you cannot see where you're at on a map. Now, other people can track you and see you on a map, but you can't see. So if you got lost, this isn't going to help you.
Right.
But that's why I want to point out here real quick. Some of these, in fact, most of these have the ability to have topo maps, even though you may not be able to see, like on the Zoleo, see a map on that device, or here, the ACR Bivy stick. You know, these are all two-way messengers, the Somewhere Global Hotspot, and then even the messenger, the Garmin Messenger, InReach Messenger. These can two-way message, but you can't see where you're at. Other people can see you, and if you sync with your phone and have Bluetooth, then you can see where you're at. But by itself, you know, all you can do is throw this at somebody. You really can't do anything. Now, on the ACR Bivy stick, there is a check-in button, so you can do that, and you can call for SOS right there.
Okay.
And all these that are basically dumb devices without being synced. Now, this is the smartest of these four, because there's some certain things you can do, and you can type a message on the screen. You can't type a message on these three, the Somewhere Global Hotspot, and the Zoleo. You can't type a message out. You can hit SOS is basically all you can do, but there is a check-in here.
So these were pretty much just the same thing as mine then, the Spot Gen 3.
Yes, but yours is a one-way messenger.
So when you say a two-way, does that mean that the other person has to have the same device?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, two-way just means that somebody on a phone or a computer, I would say it depends on how you send the message. If you send a message via email, and that person who has a phone or that has a phone can either, they can see the email, and they can see a message by the phone. If you send it to a computer, then you better have sent it by email.
Okay.
But basically, it's two things. It's an email and a phone number.
And it's two ways. So when they respond back, how do you see that?
Yeah, you don't see it on these. You can see it on this Garmin InReach Messenger. There's a real small screen, and you can see that there.
Okay.
But on these here, we'll separate these and talk about these for just a second. These, you have to be synced with your phone. So you have the Bluetooth on them, and then you can see topo maps, you can get weather, you can message, what else is there? You can send your tracking location. It's all on your phone. And as long as you don't lose sync with your phone, and this is where I always have to caution people, technology never fails us, right? We always have Bluetooth sync. It'll never go wrong.
And we always have service.
Always have service, yeah. Now the Bluetooth, the only service is, you just got to be within a certain distance of that other device. So the phone itself, like I saw, I've got my phone out here. This phone can't communicate outside cell service.
Right.
But this can communicate with a satellite, and as long as they're connected Bluetooth, now I don't need service. It's going, as long as you have a clear view of the sky.
I get it.
So if you're in a thick forest, or maybe you're in a cave, hopefully not, or you're, maybe a situation you fell, or you were down in a canyon fishing, and something happened, and maybe your walls on both sides, you're only going to see satellites right over top of you. So you want to have a greater view of the sky as much as possible.
Of course. Do they sync to just one satellite, or they sync to an array of 13, like, we do our surveying out on the job? I mean, how many satellites do they try to sync to?
It depends on the device. Almost all of these use the Iridium satellite network, and I've seen them connect to 15 and more satellites, and it'll show on there what they're connected to. And then there's also this, it's a GNSS mode. I think it connects to Chinese satellites, European satellites, Russian satellites. So if you're overseas, you definitely want to be using the GNSS mode. If you're here in North America, you could just use the GPS mode. But now the ones that are different here, the Spot X, yeah, it's a two-way messenger, and the Spot Gen 4 and Gen 3, which Gen 3 again is not here today. But these use a different system, satellite system. And it's not Iridium, and I'll have it up on the screen what it is. I just forgotten what it is right now. And then I'll also show you the coverage maps on the screen. You can't see it here. You just imagine, right?
Yeah, sure.
But there's gaps in the coverage on these two. So if you're out, I know in parts of India, parts of China, Russia, out in the Indian Ocean, out in the Pacific Ocean, and I'm sure they're adding more satellites as they go, but there are gaps in coverage. So if you're going to travel overseas, you want to make sure that you've got coverage. Now, all these others have full global pole-to-pole coverage. Doesn't matter where you're at in the world.
Wow.
And again, I'll have a screenshot of that. I'll have descriptions in the information description below. So anytime you have active tracking at the moment, you'll see sometimes I'll have multiple satellites and they're overlapping. But you can see these have global coverage, these do not. Still a great device, but if you just gotta make sure you have coverage.
What's the price range of just, let's say, these right here?
I'm going to just mention all of these real fast, and as I mention them, then I'll have images up on the screen of them. But this one here, these here are actually all Garmin's on this top row.
Okay.
All right, this is the Garmin inReach Mini 2. It is one of the smallest devices. It's a two-way messenger. You can see some tracks and do things by itself on the phone, and you can message on itself on the device. But it does better. It has more functions when you sync it and you have your access to your phone.
That would be great for backpacking. I like the size of that one.
Now this is one of my favorites. Absolutely. If you're going backpacking, and we'll go through these a little bit later about, hey, if you want a great communicator and you're out here just camping, you know, what would you want? If you're in a Jeep, what would you want? So we'll kind of group them a little bit later. But yeah, this is a great satellite communicator, or call it satellite messenger if you want. Now this one here is the Garmin Montana 750i. It takes photos. There's a 700i, doesn't take photos. And I'll do my best to say the prices as we talked about it, so I'll back up here 1 second. The Mini 2, I think it's about $350 to $400. This 750i, I think, is around $600 to $700. Now this one's a touchscreen. So this one here, now I'll argue with my buddy Mike on this from Mike and Rick Outdoors, and I'll have information in the description below about that. That's another website that Mike and I have. He has an ATV, and he went and bought this. And you know, if any of you've done this before, I'm not going to make fun of you, but when you put this thing right here on your shoulder and you're hiking versus this right here,
exactly,
I'm going to call you a name, all right? But so really, and it has these big clips on the side. So I've got a big, huge, suction cup mount in my truck, and I do not use this unless it's going to be ATV or a truck. And so, yeah, again, that's around $650, $700. This here is the Garmin Alpha 200i, and I think they have the 300i out now. This is really a dog tracker, but it's an inReach device. So again, it has the SOS and the antenna here, and then this is the antenna that goes out for, they say up to like 20 miles maybe, where it's communicating with the dog, or the collar that's on the dog.
Oh, wow, okay.
And you can track up to 20 dogs with this. I may be really wrong on this, but $400 or $500, you guys can leave a comment below and just tell me how bad I was with these prices. I don't care. All right, so this is the Garmin, this is one of the latest ones, actually. This is the Garmin inReach Messenger. And when this came out, I was like, why in the world, Garmin, did you come out with this? It's ridiculous. Now, I mean, I've got into it more recently. Makes more sense now. But if you're out camping like right here, and we had no cell service, but you're not hiking, well, one, you can hook up something right here and hook it on your pack. But you sit it here on the table, and now you have service. You can message, and people, your kids or your family or friends, whoever, they want to message you, you have service now. And it just sits on the table. That's really what it's meant to do.
It's like a hotspot or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but you can't call, but you can get two-way messaging.
Okay.
So that's, I don't remember what that was. Let's say let's say 250. Let's see if I'm right. This is like Price is Right or something. I don't know. All right, these two I'm going to talk about together real quick, and I don't mean to take up all this time, but this is the Garmin Explorer Plus. This precedes the Garmin GPS Map 67i. The 66i is a predecessor of this, and I've sold it recently. If you have a chance to get the 66i or the 67i, and these both run in this 5 to 650 range, I think, you'll want the 67i. It has a faster processor. What else does it do? There's several things it does, but the faster speed, the battery is horrible on the 66i. I mean, you might get a day on it.
Oh, wow.
We were on a hike on the Colorado Trail, the first segment, and my son got in trouble. We were really using it. We were almost going to call SOS, and I was able to charge it. I had to drive around the backside of the mountain. I was charging it. I had to go back to get him to get off the mountain. And I was down to 15%. It was bad. But this is actually, if I'm going to say, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody or any of these devices, if you want the best hiking device on the market, all in one, you want the 67i. It's my opinion. The Explorer Plus was the predecessor of it. The screen's slightly smaller. Same layout though, very similar in size, and they both are all-in-one devices. If you would have asked me a year ago what's the best all-in-one device, I would have said the Explorer Plus. Now, absolutely, it's the 67i. If you want it for the ATV, then I'd say, okay, it's the Montana. But so that's those real quick, and I think I gave the prices on those. I think now the Spot here, not the Spot, sorry, the Somewhere Global Hotspot. You can't get them right now. I don't know if they're just not going to sell them anymore, but if you can find them used, or maybe somebody has already some stocks left over, maybe you can find them. But I just give you a heads up on that. It's not readily available. But so Spot, I want to say maybe it's $200. The ACR Baby Stick, I want to say of all these, this is one of my favorites. And it's, again, these three are dumb devices by themselves. But when you sync them and you can see all the stuff it offers on the maps, I mean, I think it's the ACR Baby Stick that, man, you can search or filter by, you want to go camping or hiking or snowboarding or fishing, and then it'll then come up with different icons that are just for that. Or you want to do go four-wheeling or something. It has a really powerful map. And then the Zoleo, I wanted to say something about this, and then we'll go back to your questions, but the Zoleo, and I'm going to do something I said I was going to do later. I'm going to say it real quick, though. These are two of the best communicators. And even though this, of course, basically has to be synced with your phone to get any function, these will work with go from Wi-Fi to cell service to satellite automatically without you doing anything.
Wow, good deal.
If you're satellite, you better be outside. Or at least if it's raining, you want to make sure this has some kind of view of the sky, both of these. They're really good communicators for that reason. Now, I mean, if size is important, then
you know what they say.
Right. Size doesn't matter. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
All right, so I kind of ran through those. I didn't give the price on this. I think it was, I said $250 or something on that. I think the Zoleo is maybe about $200. Now, right now, the Spot Gen 4, I think it's about $99. Normally it's $150, but sometimes it's on sale for $99, so you can get it for $100.
Well, $99 to save your life. Wow.
Yep, right. And then the Spot X is, I want to say it's $300 or so. Now, just remember, though, you have to have a subscription. The subscription costs you some more money. But you can save money on subscriptions. I can tell you all kinds of ways to save money on subscriptions. And there are ways to save money on subscriptions.
Well, the Spot Gen 3, I think it was $11 a month.
It's not much at all.
It's not bad.
No.
Speaking of dumb devices, I mean, you're looking at one right here.
Yeah, me too.
So what would be the most user-friendly on somebody that takes instructions and kind of throws them away? Something that I can unbox, plug it in, charge it up, take it straight to the woods. Well, I would say for most people, if you want something that's just super simple and you don't care about two-way communication, Spot Gen 4. Yeah, just something where if I do get in trouble, I can hit a button, or I can just check in with whoever I designate as my check-in people. Yeah, you do want to make sure that you're going and do the setup first, because you can customize these messages. And this one here, there's your
Of course, you have this Gen 3, so you know this.
Same thing.
If those of you are watching over here, there's the SOS button there. On this side, this here is basically it's an auto service. What do they call it? Spot help, I think, maybe. But this is for auto service. But if you don't want the auto service, so if you flat tire or whatever, you hit the button, they'll come running for you or driving for you.
AAA will? Or?
I don't know if it's AAA. Maybe. And I have never done that, so you might be able to specify different services.
Looking at that.
However, you can, if I don't use it for that, so I customize this message that says, this goes to my family and friends. I'm in trouble, I need help. It's not life-threatening, but I need help now.
That makes sense.
All right, now you can do whatever you want. And it looks like a clapping hand too, so you can say, hey, I need a little pat on the back. Maybe they'll give you a golf clap. But then you can customize this message here, and then this is for tracking right here. For those of you who can't see it, that's just for tracking. And then this is a custom message. Again, you set these up at home, and then you set up who your contacts are. Who do you want, when you hit these, who's it going to? So this is by far is the most simple, but it is one way, but you can get out of trouble. I mean, how many times do you really go, I really need to communicate two-way, it's gonna, life and death, I gotta do it. I mean, it's not that often. If you can hit that button and get help, that's the most important thing.
Probably the last resort is when you're wanting to two-way communicate.
Yeah, if you're in trouble and you want to talk to somebody, yeah, that's helpful. I'll just add this real quick. I used to think when I first started, Spot Gen 3 was my first satellite communicator about 4 years ago. And I used to think, I'll never want anything else. I don't care. I don't want anybody to bother me when I'm out hiking or whatever outdoor activity. And that, after I've tested all these, that's not the case at all. I like to see the maps. I like to get weather. I like to be able to communicate, because I know my wife sometimes, she's like, where are you, okay? And it will change campsites sometimes. We've had some times where it's just pouring down rain. We were in South Fork of the Rio Grande River Reservoir, but over by Telluride it wasn't. And the weather was moving too, so we're like, hey, so we moved. They didn't know we were moving. So being able to have the two-way messaging and map share, that's really helpful. Other things that are real simple to use, I would say the Spot, the Summer Global Hotspot, the ACR Baby Stick, the Garmin InReach Mini 2, or the Mini, but I sold my Mini. And then of course the Zoleo is easy to use, and the Messenger are all easy to use. Spot X is easy to use. Okay, these don't take. This is by far the most simple. Absolutely, brain dead. You could use it. Or if you went to OSU or Texas, as an OU grad, I have to say, if you went to Texas, brain dead Texans, I'm going to get in trouble on this. No, I'm going to have to cut that one out. No, I like Texas, so if I give Texas a hard time.
Well, we like Oklahoma too, because if it didn't suck so bad, we'd fall in the ocean.
Exactly. And the other thing is, we're always taught in October for sure, you have to hate each other.
Well, sure, of course, Red River Rowdy.
Right, but no, I'm probably not gonna cut that out. But all you Texans, I love you guys. Actually, I don't dislike. I like Texas. I do. It's just kind of humid for me now, being in Colorado.
We went back 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And man, as soon as I got off the plane, I felt like I was drowning.
Yeah.
I spent 51 years in Texas. I love it. It will always be my home. It's in my blood, and it never will. Anything ever change that. But I'm done with that weather, just completely done. But that's why we come up here. We want to do, because in Texas, you can only hike maybe 2 to 3 months out of the year. Up here, you can almost do it year round. You got to have the right equipment, of course, for your shoes and when it's snowing. But that's where we get into where we want to be tracked. So we've got the dumb ones out of the way. Now let's upgrade to, I want to see how to get out of here. What's the next one up from the dummies?
Yeah, so you can't, if you're lost, you're not going to figure your way out with the Spot Gen 4. As long as you have Bluetooth, you can see on your phone and get out.
Okay.
So these are smart and they're minimalistic. I have to draw a distinction here. The Spot X, even though it does have Bluetooth, so anyway, but you can't see maps on it. So if you want to see maps and you're lost, then these all work as long as you have Bluetooth. Here's the issue I would bring up for a lot of people if high tech is a problem, or it takes a lot to set up. These right here, you probably would want to stay away from. They are the most powerful, but there's so much to it. When I was first, I didn't really work on the Explorer Plus that much. I didn't get into all it could do. When the GPS Map 66i came out and the 67i came out, I got so overwhelmed. There's pages and pages of maps and all these different, well, they call them pages, but they're menus. I call them more menu items, but I had to break it down into playlists so that I said, okay, I just want to talk about search and rescue today. Okay, now how do I do messaging? Okay, now how do I track? Okay, now separately, and these are all separate videos, and there's a playlist, and that information will be in the description below. I'll put it on the screen unless you're watching TV. You can't see it. For those on the computer or phone, it'll be right here. So I broke these down into playlists, and so one was on navigating and track back, and I just broke it down. And once I broke it down, now it's easy.
Okay.
And on these 2-3 devices right here, I don't know if you can do it on the Explorer Plus. I may be wrong on it, but you can go customize the menu, and things that you don't use you can get rid of, or you can move them to the next page. So the things you use the most can, instead of scrolling down or going to the next. Now the next page is typically the settings menu, but even on the settings menu you can put the things at the top that you want.
Oh.
So you can make it a lot more simple. But if you want it simple and minimalistic, forget these. I mean, the Mini 2 is way more simple. Some people might say it can be a little complicated. I don't think so. These are all much more simple. These are high tech. You can get to them, but you better spend some time really testing them and make sure you know before. Don't go buy it 1 week and 2 days before your trip you go, turned it on, I got my system, I sent it one message and I'm ready to go and take off. You're gonna be in trouble. All right, so we're gonna group these a bit for what they're really good at, and if we think of anything else, we'll then tell you and talk about it when we get there. All right, let's do the simplest thing first, and I'm gonna mess this all up again. But if you want the most simple thing, one-way satellite communicator, super simple. Basically, turn it on. Maybe put some contacts on the computer so it shows up here, and then you go hiking. That's your Spot Gen 4, Gen 3 are really the way to go. And if you want to rent one, they do rent those out. But
really?
The only things I've seen to be rented out are the Spot Gen 4, Gen 3.
Oh, wow.
All right, so that's the simplest minimalistic you can go. If you want the best communicators, I've already talked about this. I'm going to turn this so Jerry can't see it. Huh. So the Zoleo and the Garmin are the best communicators in my opinion because they go from Wi-Fi to cell service to satellite. And again, if you're going to use satellite, better have a view of the sky. All right, best communicators right there. If you want a great minimalistic device that does two-way and maps, then you're going to look at, well, the Zoleo's in there too. This doesn't do maps. And somewhere in the ACR, so those are minimalistic and they tend to cost, now this one costs more money. Tend to be less expensive but they're still simpler to use. If you want an all-in-one device that you don't need to use your cell phone, it's these right here. I'm gonna turn them around again because I like you, Jerry, but there's more people out there watching than you.
Well, what's the battery life on these?
Okay.
Since they have so many functions.
Okay, so on these batteries, let's just start with the worst one. And the GPS Map 66i used to be just as bad. I'd lose that battery in a day. So if you're looking at saving $100 and getting the 66i, forget it. Save your $100, wait for the 60 until you have the money to get the 67i. And I'll talk about that battery in just a second. But this will go out, the Montana 700, 750i, you'll lose it in a day. And again, that's why you want this on an ATV or on a Jeep. You've got these clips on the side, and then you have it connected to your USB outlet in your truck, and that's what you've got to have. This Garmin Alpha 200i, and again, there's a 300i out now. I think this lasts about a week, so about a week on that battery. Again, if I'm wrong, it'll be on the screen. The Garmin Explorer Plus, you cannot buy this from Garmin anymore. You can buy it from other parties on YouTube, not YouTube, Amazon. And I think the Garmin store actually sells it on Amazon, but you can't buy it from the Garmin International store, their main site. But that would last over a week. It has a great battery. And so this one here, I always thought when I started this site that I was not going to play favorites or tell people one was better than the other. But this is me and my experience of getting out and testing them. What am I going to do? Lie to you? Oh, they're all equally the same. No, they're not.
Huh.
And so this Garmin GPS Map 67i, now the 66i had 66i on the front. So if you don't see a 67i on it, it just says GPS Map, that's your 67. But it lasts a week now, and I've thoroughly tested these devices with the Mini 2 and the 67i. I'd gone on a trip to Kansas. I was tracking every 2 minutes. I went on a trip through Colorado. I mean, I was pushing this thing to the max, and I think only lost 18 or 20% in the day.
Oh, wow.
And then when I let it run all week long, and one thing I realized, if you want to do a battery test, don't just turn it on and leave it sitting. And you want it to have a view of the sky, because sometimes it keeps searching for the signal, for the satellite signal. And other times, I mean, you want to actively, as much as you can, use it and be moving so it's tracking. If you're not moving, it's not tracking. Because you can set these up to where there's a non-moving interval or something, so when you stop moving, it'll stop tracking. But this will last like 6.5 days. And I pushed this hard, and it would still last at least 4 days. So I always carry a portable charger with me. And a lot of times I'm still near my truck, so as long as you have the ability to charge. If you're going on a 2 week long trip, I'd say, take a portable charger with you. You'll be able to charge it at least 3 times. Your phone is the bigger issue.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, you put that phone on battery save and you put it up. And if you need to get it out, especially if you're going to use one of these devices where it has to be synced, okay, now your charger is for your phone, not these.
Yeah, but who doesn't hike with some type of external battery pack or a little solar pack or something, just so they can keep their devices charged?
Yeah. And in fact, I've got a solar charger for the backpacking, and I'll have information in the description below on that. But it's about the size of this right here. Definitely not any bigger than that. And it unfolds and has 4 panels. It takes about a full day to charge it up, though. So if you're carrying it on your pack and it's not getting full sun or it's cloudy, it's not going to fully charge in a day.
Right.
So we were talking, did we finish up? Let's talk real quick. We were grouping them a bit. And we talked about the best communicators, the best all-in-one devices, which are these right here, standalone devices. So if you want to go hiking, I'm just going to give you my personal opinion. Now, technology never fails, right? So if you're going to go hiking and you have the Bluetooth connection, then I'm going to say the number 1 and 2 device, sorry for all the other devices out there, GPS Map 67i and the Garmin inReach Mini 2. The Garmin inReach Mini 2 is a lot better than the Mini. They're similar, but the Mini 2 shows more. It tracks. It'll show on and off course. If you go off course, it'll show that.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'll put that on the screen. I'll put images up. And if you get back on course, it'll show on course. So again, good for hiking. I don't like this. I don't like the Garmin inReach Messenger for hiking. The Zoleo is good for hiking. Summer Global Hotspot's good for hiking. All these right here are all good for hiking. The ACR Baby Stick and the Spot Gen 4. Again, only one-way messenger. You can use this for hiking, but all of these, minus this one here, all of these, you can see a map. And again, I didn't think I would really care that much in the past about it. But now it's a big deal, because I'll be out hiking and there's like 4 or 5 different trails. And if I can look on it, a lot of times I'll see, okay, there's these different trails, and I can get a feel for, I can sometimes figure out where I want to go. But if not, then I can switch over to aerial or satellite view, and now I can really see where I'm at. So,
well, speaking of maps like that, I don't mean to interrupt, but like say if I'm on alltrails.com and I want to download a hiking trail, which one can I download that map to?
You can, there's a lot of people out here that know more about some of the stuff with the hiking trails apps than I do. But I believe, now some of these might require a subscription. Now I have All Trails, but I believe you can you can download that map or an aerial of that area, of the area you're going to, so you can have it offline.
Yep.
But then you can also get that trail and then upload it to at least the GPS device, the Garmin devices.
Right.
And then you can pull it in, and you can see it on these devices. But these devices, the Garmin's already have most trails on them anyway.
Okay. Well, that makes it easy.
But there's a lot of technical things here I still don't know, because, people argue with me all the time about this. Because people say, well, you just need the Garmin InReach Messenger, you just need to be able to two-way communicate. And I will tell everybody, absolutely, maps are not important overall. Your ability to call SOS and two-way message are absolutely the reason to have these. You can actually use some trail maps, All Trails and some others, Gaia, there's different ones. And I've already tested this out. Even outside cell service, you can still use those trails, those apps. I've had problems though before. People are like, oh no, it's no big deal. You can use them, and you don't need. It's like, okay, great. I was I was hiking west of Boulder, Colorado, and I was in the mountains outside cell service, and I had my All Trails app. It would not connect. It would not make enough of a connection at all to where I could see the trail. Now, if I could leave that on my screen and never have it go off, it wasn't a problem. It would stay communicating. I could see where I'm at. But if it went dark on me, and or I did something else, I turned it off, whatever, there were several times I could not get that back. Now, maybe that was an older software. Maybe they've made changes, and this is where I don't know enough to be emphatic about it. But I've had trouble, and that's why I always want to go out with something I can two-way communicate with, and be able to see the maps and see where I'm at. I like the all-in-one devices. All right, so those for hiking. So if you're camping, I would say this is great for right here we're at, camping, no cell service. This is perfect. And the Zoleo too. I would kind of group those together. Now, if you are, already talked about all-in-one devices, so we don't need to go over that again. These are the all-in-one devices. If you're on a Jeep or an ATV, then I would go with the Montana 700 or 750i first. It's really big, touchscreen. When it's far away, it's easier to see. That's what it's meant for. I talked to Garmin about it, and they said, yeah, absolutely. The Montanas are made for off-roading ATVs and all. This has a big enough screen, the 67i, that I wouldn't have any problem mounting this in my truck or Jeep or an ATV and using it also. The nice thing about this is it's not a touch screen, but you have a lot longer battery. I have heard some criticisms on the touchscreens, and the Alpha 200i is also a touchscreen. When you get them wet, it causes some problems. I've heard that, not practically. I haven't experienced it myself.
What about cold conditions? I mean, because on our phones, when our fingers are cold, it doesn't pick up the heat.
Yeah, that's possible. I've been out in some really cold weather here, but I haven't had either of these using those, so I couldn't tell you. I've had some people bring up things like, okay, so it's freezing and it's snowing or ice. How do these buttons work under cold conditions? Maybe versus the Spot. Now the Spot X. So, if it's easier to type a message with this is like the old Blackberries.
Right.
But will these freeze up at all? And I can't answer that question. Will these freeze up at all? Well, I guarantee you what's going on underneath here is there's that rubber cover under there. Mm-hmm. There's no water getting in there, but can it be harder to depress these if it was minus 20 and you're stuck in the snow somewhere?
Well, everything's harder at minus 20.
Yes,
you're stuck in
exactly.
the snow.
Yep. So I don't know, do you have any other questions? Is that kind of...
That pretty much explains the whole wide range. Is there other manufacturers out there? Is this pretty much it, the Garmin? And
yeah, there's a new
Spots?
one out by Motorola. I've been resistant to get it. And if you want to see some information on that, the hiking guy has already reviewed it. And the hiking guy, we're not best buds, but we have talked on by email. And I'll just throw you guys his way. He has reviewed that Motorola. I don't remember the name. It'll be on the screen in the description below. What I don't like about the Motorola is right now it's only in the U.S. the coverage, and they'll show that Canada's next, maybe I think next, and then they have South America's next, but they don't say anything about Europe that I've seen. Nothing about Europe, Africa, China. So I personally am just kind of resistant to even reviewing that one because it just covers the U.S. I'm like, why? I'm probably going to go get it, but I'm just a little skeptic.
Yeah, but for me, there's a lifetime of stuff to see and do here.
Yeah, right.
In America.
Yes.
I don't need to go overseas. I mean, I would love to. I'd love to go hike in the Swiss Alps or something, you know. But
all right, you just made up my mind. I'm going to go get the Motorola.
For people like me, we need to see the Motorola.
Yeah, you just maybe spend more money though, because Motorola. I did ask Motorola if they'd send me one. It's been silent on their end.
Oh, crickets, huh?
Yeah.
I hear it.
So I honestly, every one of these I've bought because I've had a few people say they would work with me and send me some, but then they were like ACR Bivy Stick. Bivy Stick said, yeah, we'll send you our new one. And then ACR bought them out. Never did get one.
Oh.
But yeah, no, the Motorola is the only one that I'm not aware of. Now, if you want to get into sat phones, right? Okay, different market, different thing. I don't cover any of those. These are all of them that I'm aware of. And there are other devices, and I have one or two other devices that really just navigate. But I have them and I've reviewed them, but I want to focus on what you can communicate with.
Sure.
But I mean, you know, I will, let's end up with this, unless you have another question. I want to end up with this. Get something on your pack. If you don't have anything, get something. And if you want, then I would say start with inexpensive. And if satellite coverage isn't important, then, I mean, because there are gaps, this is what I started with. So get the Gen 4. You know, one of the next cheaper ones down here, I think the Zolio's fairly cheap. And to be able to communicate, the Garmin inReach Messenger is pretty cheap. And then I think this is, but I just don't know if they're making these anymore. The ACR Bivy Stick, I think it runs a little bit more money. So I'll kind of keep this up here because let's just start with something cheap. Not say cheap as in cheaply made, but inexpensive.
Inexpensive.
And if you got all kinds of money in the world, then you're left with considering two different things. Do you want to go minimalistic or do you want to have high tech? And if you got all kinds of money in the world and you can buy whatever you want, then go with this Garmin GPS Map 67i. Absolutely. If you're in an ATV, you go with the Montana 700, 750i. If you like you still got money, but you want to go minimalistic, okay, here's your Mini 2. You know, so you could start breaking down to, I mean, honestly, I'm going to throw something else out real quick here. If you got the ability to get the Explorer Plus, yeah, I would still get the Explorer Plus. They're going to stop supporting the Explorer Plus someday. The Gen 3, now, the Spot Gen 3, now I haven't talked to Spot about this, but Spot may stop supporting that someday. I have talked to Garmin though, and they said they still support their Explorer Plus. They still support the Mini, but someday they'll stop supporting it. They'll stop giving those updates or software updates and things like that. That's the only thing to be concerned about with
I think
older
you
models.
talked me into maybe upgrading to maybe something like this right here. This right here may be more what we need than the Spot Gen 3.
Yeah, see, I would even pass up the Spot X. When I'm using the Spot X and you navigate, and I've got videos on navigating with the Spot X, it's just it gives you a distance and an arrow. You know, and you can navigate that way, and that's better than nothing. But there may be a mountain, a river, an obstacle, or whatever in your way, and you can't just go that direction. All of these others, minus this Spot Gen 4, you can see on the map, and you can then see where a river is. You can see where a mountain is, and they're just more handy. If I were going to tell somebody that didn't want to spend $600-700 on the 67i,
Which is the majority of everybody.
This is actually the number one, probably the most popular, even on the videos and views. This is one of the most sought after and viewed, and it does everything. So even if you can't see a topo map on it, you can see it on your phone, and that's great. Now, I'm going to tell you how I use this in just a minute. But when you're navigating, you can see the tracks. So if you had a trail ahead of time or you created a course ahead of time, it'll show up and you can navigate by it. And then if you don't have that and you're just out and you say, hey, I'm going to take off over here, you can start tracking, and then it's going to show all these little points exactly where you went. And then if you're lost, you can just track back.
Every 2 minutes, you said? Every 1 minute? Wherever you want to set
2 minute is if you have the expedition plan. But if you don't have the expedition plan, you have the recreation or safety, then I think it's 5 minutes the lowest you can get. But that's for tracking. So if you wanted to say Candy was staying at home one time and you went out by yourself hunting, or you and I went out, the guys, right?
She will never let me do that.
So, yeah. But if you did, so for a family and friend, then you do the map share. You send them a link, and whether it's on their phone or the computer, then they can follow you. And that 2 minute tracking, that 5 minute tracking, 10 minute tracking is what they see.
Oh, okay.
But you can set your activity detail to high or normal on this. So since I'm doing these videos all the time, I want to show people how accurate it can get. And if there's a brand new trail, and I've done this on one video, and I'll have that in the description below. There's a video I did where there was a brand new trail, and there was no trails showed up. So I set this on high detail, and I headed off. I'm telling you, every 10 to 20 feet, it was putting down a track. It was nailing that course down. But this is by far, I mean, it's a great device. It does run about $350, I think, but it does so much. And when you hook it up, when you have it Bluetooth with your phone, it does almost as much as the 67i.
Yeah,
and the screen's bigger. So here's what I do. I don't have my pack on me. My pack's over there. But I just put it on my pack up high. Now there's a backpack tether. Sorry, I just made Jerry do some work for me and get my backpack. So on the back side here, if you want to know the best way to carry these, I'm going to flip this over here. It's these backpack tethers. And it's from Garmin. Not all of them can use these. Like the Messenger cannot use this, but it's Velcro straps that they strap around your strap. This is the best place to put it, for me, what I found. And then it's Velcroed both sides here. And then what you do is on the Mini 2, if you get the Mini 2, you have to get a spine adapter. Now I'm going to maybe make Garmin mad here, but I've talked to several people. These spine adapters just don't come with this Garmin inReach Mini 2. But if you call them and ask nicely, sometimes they send it to you for free. But it just slides on here. Then if you drop it, you're tethered. You won't lose it. And so then it just sits right here. So this sits up high, pretty high. Now what you're supposed to do, your antenna is always supposed to be skyward. So it sits right here. It's in the best place. It's out of my way. It's lightweight. I don't even realize it's there. I mean, I really don't. When I go and take, say, this Alpha right here, and I put this on, and I put this back up here, oh yeah, I know that's there. It's still out of the way, but I know it's there.
I like that Velcro thing because on a lot of my packs, these places where you can tie them onto just ain't in the right location.
Right. So what I do is because this is, I tried doing it up here one time, but it sits too high and it was more flat. But when I loop it through this strap right here, then it keeps it from sliding at all. It's going to sit stationary.
I like that.
But
I'm glad you showed me that.
Yeah, so this is, you want to get the backpack strap, and I'll have that in the description below. But you can see how small it is. Let me pull this back off so I get my pack out of the way here. But these do come off a little hard sometimes. It's good. You don't want them to come off too easy. But no joke, if I were going to, if you had $350 or were going to save enough money to get it, that is one of the top messengers. The only reason I would say this might not be the top for me anymore, because I really, the 67i is my favorite now. The ability and the functions that the 67i has on navigation exceeds the Mini 2. What they both do, and I really like, is you have the Explorer app, and I'll just show here, and there'll be screenshots up on here for everybody who can't see what I'm talking about here with Jerry's. You hit this Explorer app. Now it uses the Messenger app too for the weather, the SOS, and the messaging.
Oh, that's good.
But the Explorer app, you go in here and you got the huge screen right here. And for all of you who can't see it, here it is. Again, there'll be screenshots. So this says a download, there's a map available, but down here at the bottom you've got the map, library, messaging, devices, and account. Now if I go up here to this plus icon, before I do that, there's these little layers. You click on that, now it lets me go into collections or maps. But you can then change the, I should be actually screenshotting this. But if you, let me go hit that again, just to make sure all of you on that are watching can see this. But now you can see the different maps. Now I'm going to go back to Topo Active here real quick. So you can see all this information here, and then if you want to go over to, let's see, messages. Here's all my messages, and again, it's all be on the screen. But I can message people just as easy as it is to message on your phone, like you text message. And then I got different devices. I got my watch here. This is the Garmin Fenix 7F Sapphire Solar, and it has topo maps on it too. And when I go fishing, I can then, if I find a great fishing hole, I did this on the last fishing trip at Cheeseman Canyon. I mean, there's some fishing holes that are awesome, and you people are there. So if you get there early enough, I can go put a waypoint down. I can hit the fishing, it's tracking me along where I'm going, and I can hit the screen, call it a waypoint, whatever I want to call it, and then I know where that fishing hole is. So I can track.
Well, that'd be amazing if I had an SOS button and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the only problem. It doesn't. I was hoping that you could do SOS and two-way messaging.
Yeah, you wouldn't even need any of these.
Yeah, someday they'll have that. I'm sure. Yeah. So anyway, so here, let me end with this, unless you come up with another question. What I do, whether I'm using the 67i or the Mini 2, this is on my pack. I hardly ever take it off my pack. I turn it on, I make sure it's tracking, and I take off. Then this is in my pocket. Now if I'm fishing, it's going to be a different situation because I don't want it to get wet. But I'll just pull this out of my pocket and I'll check my map, and I can zoom in, I can message, I can do whatever I want, and it's just so much more convenient. It's a big, huge screen. Now if the weather's bad, or there's a lot of mud and dirt, and I want to protect this, now you can get a different cover for it to protect it better. But if the weather's bad, I'm going to then more focus on the device itself and not use this so much. And if I'm out on the Colorado Trail, it's going in battery save mode, or I'm turning it off until I need it. And then I'll use these devices. But it just depends on the type of venture. So, got any other profound questions?
You've explained pretty much all of them. I know I'm sold on this one, and I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, it's a great device. You can't go wrong with it.
I just don't need that yet. And plus, that would just be too much.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty simple.
Yep. Now, I'm not even going to get into it, but man, creating a course, I'm going to put a link in the description below. But I'm going to just show you real fast, just because because we're here talking, I want to show you this. You hit this little plus icon here at the top, and let's say we wanted to hike into Woodland Park. Sorry, we want to hike into Woodland Park, and there's no trail. Of course, there's a road, but let's going to say what it is. We're going to hit this plus icon right here, and it says create waypoint, create course, input GPX file. So what I'm going to do is right where I'm going to zoom in. If I can zoom in, I just hit cancel. I'm zooming in a little more. So I'm going to hit the plus icon again, and I am going to hit create course. Now all I do, now I can zoom around. Now where am I at? I just lost myself. It's way more simple than this. Let me get out of this. Let's start over. Okay, so here I am. So I'm going to zoom in right to where we're at. There's a creek over here. Okay, so I'm going to hit the plus icon. I'm going to hit create course. And that's where we're at. I'm going to put one point down only where I'm at. Now, I want to zoom out. Let me take a screenshot of that. I want to zoom out to Woodland Park. We want to go have steak tonight. Now, I don't know where a good steak place is, but there is a restaurant right over here, and we're going to, where are we going to go? I'll just pick a place, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to pick a spot right there. And that made a straight line. I don't want to do that.
That's if you're flying.
Yeah. Why did it do a straight line? Oh, I know why. I'm not turned on.
That could be a big one.
Yeah. I need some water. I've been talking too much. So yeah, this is hooked up right here. Again, that's what I do. I just put it up here. I can see everything here. I can get weather. You can get marine weather if you want, but you have to be in a large body of water, or you have to put a waypoint out. And for me to get a marine weather, I had to go. I went out in the Gulf and I put a waypoint in the Gulf of Mexico. And then when I selected marine weather, it went to that waypoint out there, and then it gave me wave height, time between waves, all that. So we're gonna hit the plus. This better work this time. Create course. You are now seeing topo active. I understand that. And we're going to put a point down. Where are we at? I've lost myself all of a sudden again. I think we're right here. Yeah, we're right there somewhere. So I'm going to put 1 point down. And then I'm going to zoom out and go to Woodland Park, where we're going to have a steak dinner. And I'll put another point down there. Okay. When I put the second point down, it automatically took the fastest route.
Creates a route for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now in this case here, this is a course. There's a difference between courses and routes.
Oh.
Courses are better. But you can create this course that fast, and I can hit save. And then under save, I can go in here and I can then change the name. And I'm going to just type in test. Let's see, it's just so easy. I'll just show you how this goes here. Test with Jerry. I'm just like typing a message or a text message with Jerry. If I could spell your name right.
With an I.
Is it with an I?
No, I'm joking.
Jerk. All right, so test with Jerry. And so now you can see it's got the name, test with Jerry. And all I got to now do is hit go. All right. So it's going to ask me, this fly has all of a sudden figured out I'm here. It wants to know, see, since I have my watch and the Mini 2, it wants to know which one I want to navigate by. And so I'm going to hit Mini 2, and it says enable tracking, which is when you're out doing a trip or something, you want your family and friends. It costs money sometimes. I have the Expedition plan, so yes, I pay for it in a monthly subscription, but there's no charge for the extra tracks. So I'm going to hit enable tracking and get your device ready to go. So now it's pairing here. So when I hit enable tracking, I create the course right here, it's automatically creating or going to let me navigate on the course, and it's automatically going to start tracking. It's automatically going to get information for the map share. You have to have sent somebody the link to the map share. You could send them a link right here from map share and say, hey, I'm out here and I'm hiking and I want you to know where I'm at. But I always have it set up ahead of time. So if I sent, like Julie, I sent her something 6 months ago, and she can still find that email, then she can still see where I am on the map share. But I always, before I go out on a trip, I always send a brand new link out so it's right at the top of their emails. When the course is finished and created, it's gonna be magenta in front of you. And then when you start hiking, then it'll be blue behind you or cyan color.
Oh, so I tell your progress now?
Yep. And then here on the Mini 2, if you want to see, you can always see on the map, you can go just hit this up or down arrow and go to navigation and hit enter. And so see, it says test with Jerry.
Oh, okay.
And it's...
You can see, all right.
So you can see information here. Now see right now it's showing I need to go turn and go that way. But what it did is it went to the road. So it's showing the closest road is right here by my truck and your truck. So then you're gonna get on that, and then that's when, if you start going off that course, then it's gonna give you on and off course. So you have the choice of tracking here, and then once we start walking, let's just do this real quick. We'll leave these cameras going here. I want to come back to this. I want to show you this. We'll just walk down the road just a minute here. So you hold that one. And see, it should show dots behind us as we're walking. Oh, but that road is showing the road over here.
Yeah, that's the main road, yeah.
But you're still going to see something here. You're going to see the blue behind us here. And then you should see little dots there. But we have to walk here just maybe 100 yards to see it.
Oh, there's a dot, yeah.
So that's... you got the point, right?
Yeah, very cool.
And And then when you're done, like on there, if you hit the top right button, and then what does it say?
Stop navigation.
Yeah, stop navigation. Hit that top button again, and so it stopped. It has stopped. So it told me here too, has stopped navigating.
Huh. But it still shows your position, right?
Yeah, it still shows where you're at. And even on here, it's going to show where I'm at, but it's not going to put the tracking down anymore. You won't see the blue behind you, but you can always still see where you're at. So I just keep my phone in my pocket, and that's how I use it.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, I think we beat this horse to death. Okay. Really appreciate you guys, and you, Jerry, because you're right here, and you're the one that can hurt me the fastest.
Yeah.
So, man, just appreciate everybody hanging out with us today. Again, check out Jerry's site with MeAndHerAfterKids.
Appreciate it.
He's got some great content. They're out, and I've said this before in my last video. I think Jerry gets out more than I do. I think you do. But a lot of great stuff, great storyteller, and he's reviewing gear, and he's got this truck camper, and he's got all kinds of stuff he has, and then he goes on these great hikes and stuff. So check his channel out. And again, thanks for joining us here today. If you have any questions at all, I love to communicate with you guys and answer these questions as soon as I can, and just leave a comment below. But thanks again for joining us, and please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. And if you'd like to support Hiking Emergency Beacon, there's a link in the description below. Thanks again, and I will see you back out here in the next video.